Sitting across me is my next guest. She goes by the name of Jade. How are you?
Really good, but really nervous. I'm not gonna lie.
Don't be nervous, girl. Don't be nervous. James, please close the door. Thank you. Who's Jade? In a
I like
nutshell.
to consider her my alter ego.
Okay.
You know, she was born from a very dark place,
Mm.
but you know, I've learned to use. You gotta learn to use everything born out of negativity or from a dark place and use it as a strength. You know,
Yeah.
that strength to push you. You know, to being. You know,
Yeah.
and she's a very bold, very confident,
That's a good thing. There's nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with that.
very dominant, I
Okay.
should say.
Let's see her dominate on this podcast.
Well, she'll try.
So what do you do on your day-to-day basis?
Actually, on a day-to-day basis, it's very boring, you know. I'll be on Instagram. I watch
Okay.
anime. I'm a anime fanatic.
Oh, okay.
And
What-
it's very rare to come across a black girl who's really into, you know, that kind of stuff.
Why do you say it's rare?
Because I don't know how many people I've come across, and most of them are be like either like, what is anime, or bugela leonto.
Bugo Popeye.
Bugo Popeye. Yeah, in the house they know me. They know me. And sometimes I create, you know, like designs and stuff.
Yeah.
If I'm feeling inspired, then I'll do a little art piece on the computer or something. Yeah.
Wow. So what's your favorite anime?
Ha.
Top 5.
Bleach.
Okay.
Bleach is fire. Like, I shouldn't. Yeah, but I actually, after watching the 366 episodes, I was so blown away that
You watch every episode?
I watched every single episode, even the little fillers, you know.
Oh my god. You're
I
a
was
true fan.
addicted, you know, like a true addict.
Mm.
There's one, I don't know the, oh, Attack on Titan.
Okay.
Attack on Titan was beautiful because as much as it was really intense, and it really got with my emotions.
Yeah.
And anything that clicks with my emotions, that's, yeah. And then there was Tokyo Ghoul.
Okay.
But it was good in the first season, but they lost me in the second.
In the second one.
Yeah.
Don't you hate when that happens? Like when you think you've come across something
Something really good.
like something you can really enjoy.
And then they switch up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they brought a lot of characters in there, so it got very confusing. So I'm just like, yeah, nah.
Miss me with that one.
Yeah, miss me with that.
And what else? That's 2.
That was 3.
Mm.
One Punch Man. You know,
Okay,
so when
I've never
when
seen or heard of that.
when someone suggested it, and they're like, oh, it's cool, and this character, this main character, he kills all of his opponents with just one punch. I'm like,
Okay, what kind of opponents is he facing?
every sorts of opponent you could think of, the
So-
strongest, but none of them have been able to defeat him in even one.
Wait, is it always one punch?
It's always one punch.
Like literally.
It is always one punch.
Whenever he's fighting against somebody,
Yes.
it's gonna be one punch.
He'll let them do whatever. He doesn't even get phased by the amount of hits he takes. It's like he can feel nothing. He trained up to a point where he can't feel anything.
Oh my god. and how did he get these powers now?
He was an ordinary human, but I don't know a lot of the back. I don't think they showed much of the back. But he wanted to be able to fight against, because he was attacked while he was human, and he couldn't do anything about it. So I guess that led him to training so much that he even lost his hair. He's a bald superhero.
Oh my, a bold superhero.
He's a bald superhero.
I've never heard of such a thing.
Yeah.
Wow. And how old is his character?
He's supposed to be young, Like
Okay.
I'm not really
Is
sure.
he
Maybe
like in?
maybe like a
Is he
17,
like
18,
Is he like
maybe.
an Ash in Pokemon? Or
Um.
is it like the Saiyans? He does like Goku and them, like no age. Or
Ooh.
the the Pop Girls.
Oh no, those are too young. Let's just settle for Ash, but maybe a bit older. But Ash.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's like teenage. Ash was a
Like
teen.
an older teenager maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like 18, 19.
Yeah, somewhere there.
Okay, last one.
Um. Hmm.
Tricky.
Tricky, because there is this one. But I don't know how to pronounce it right now. Like it's straight out Japanese.
No one's gonna judge you.
I think it's Kimetsu.
Okay, that sounds Japanese.
I don't know the rest, but it's really interesting. And all of these animes that I do watch or attracted to or that gets me intrigued are all like it has to be like martial arts based. None of the like gunfighting.
Why is that?
Because I've always been into like the Chinese culture or the Asian culture, because I shouldn't separate Japanese and Chinese, even though they are very different. And I did not study. I used to train kung fu.
Get out of here!
Once upon a time.
No freaking way.
Yeah.
You used to train kung fu?
I used to train kung fu, and I ended up specializing in tai chi.
My God, how far did you go?
Not that far, not far enough, cause with that I used to like gym as well, so I ended up like hurting my knee, and then it was just like
injuries.
yeah, and then also there was just no time, like the following year, just no time.
Wow, kung fu. Any other form of martial arts that you've dabbled into? Maybe karate and.
Oh no. I always heard them training next door though, and it was always sounded intense, and yeah.
Ever thought about jiu-jitsu?
Yes. I have, and capoeira.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the form is
my God.
beautiful. It's like
Okay. Before I dub you one of my favorite guests. Sorry, everyone. This is the decider. It's gonna decide whether you're my favorite guest or you're one of my favorite guests.
Okay.
So you either be one of
one
or
of.
be the. Your choice. By any chance, are you an MMA fan?
Mixed martial arts. I can't say I'm a fan, but if I had to be given a chance to learn, I'd be all in.
There it goes. You're my favorite guest.
Yeah, I had to be the, not one of. I don't play. I
see you don't play, girl.
Yeah, I don't play.
So, what do you know about mixed martial arts?
Huh.
Anything? You haven't found time to look into it?
No, I haven't found time to look or delve into it.
What are you waiting for? That's like the number one fastest growing sport all around the world.
I guess I was too fixated on getting back to Kung Fu that I didn't give myself time to explore other things, because I mean, once I fall in love with something, it's like I become loyal to it. You know, I'm open to training other things, but after I feel like I've conquered this, I don't move on without conquering something. You know.
So you're still on Kung Fu.
I'm not doing it currently, but I'm still hooked onto it. Like I would really go back.
Wow. You must really look into MMA. I think you're gonna like it. Why do I think that? Because well, I grew up in the 90s. I used to watch movies like Bloodsport when I was growing up. I used to watch a lot of Van Damme movies, Bruce Lee.
Who is that guy? Steven Seagal.
Yeah. Yeah, the man with the quickest hands.
Oh
my.
Yeah.
So that was my jam. So now, in some of those movies, they would have tournaments.
Yes.
So they have these or martial arts tournaments where they fight. Fighters come in and they fight.
Yeah.
It's a great big story at the end.
Yes.
The
Yes.
underdog wins.
Yeah. I used to watch a lot of those too.
And now that happens in real life, in MMA, every weekend or every second weekend. Well, because MMA is a global sport now, so you got like events happening every weekend.
So it's a very active sport.
Yes, it's very active because you got MMA in China, you got MMA here, because we also got our own MMA.
Is it combat only?
Yeah, it's combat only.
I think that's also what made me stick to kung fu. Is that at some point you get to learn a weapon or weapons according to what your strength is.
Imagine that. MMA with weapons.
Deadly. Untouchable, probably.
So that's literally like a fight to the dead.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Because I was supposed to learn the sword, which was imagine I'd be like, once I learned the sword, I'd buy my own and just walk around with it, just strapped across my back or something.
On some
warrior chick.
What it do?
Yeah.
Check the samurai.
Try me. Yeah.
Samurai that.
Yeah.
Wow. So who taught you kung fu, or where did you, like, if you went to a class or a dojo, you were part of a school?
Yeah. DUT.
Yeah.
Yeah, they offer kung fu.
There's kung fu at DUT.
There's kung fu at DUT. There's a whole team, and it's actually because we even went to a Joburg tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kung fu tournament,
which was a beautiful experience.
So what, at the tournament, do you also have like weapons duels and stuff?
No, there's no weapon duels, but they are forms. Like I really don't know how to explain it, but it's like you do a whole movement, a routine using either it's just you or your weapon, which could be the stick or the fan.
Okay, what's a fan?
Fan.
Oh yeah.
Each one of them is beautiful.
Wow. Nunchucks? Can you?
Nunchucks, they are a bit. I can't.
You can't.
I can't. I'll probably like smack my face. Like that. But that's how you learn. That's how you learn.
Wow. Man, I'm a fanboy. I used to mess around with sticks and all that kind of jazz.
Yeah.
But like when I got into movies, that's when I started getting interested into swords. Especially like wielding a sword. Like that's something I still want to be able to do.
Yeah.
Even right now, I teach myself MMA.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
like
really
I watch fighters.
Yeah.
I follow fighters.
Yeah.
I watch their training sessions, how they train, and I listen to them talk. Thank God for podcasts. You know how they talk about the whole fight game and the mixed martial arts game, and you get to understand that it's not just about beating the next guy, but it's about respecting yourself, and understanding yourself, and just creating discipline.
Yeah, discipline is very important.
And that's why I always recommend, like, if people could like just participate in some form of martial arts.
When you spoke about discipline, like I get a lot of questions when I do say that, hey, I do kung fu. I used to do kung fu, and then someone will be like, oh, so you can beat me, or and I'm just like, no, that's not what it's for. Like that is not what it's for.
You're not even there when I'm. You're not even in my mind when I'm doing this, because like there's one thing I've learned through teaching myself. Okay, I started off with teaching myself how to box.
Really?
Number one, yeah. Because the reason why boxing is like it's how am I gonna? You need a lot of energy.
Yeah.
From the word go. why I
Move
say
like a butterfly, sting
no,
like
no,
a
no.
bee.
Like in boxing, like the first thing they gotta teach you. Okay, it's different. Some will teach you how to strike. They would want to teach you how to strike. That's a bad coach, according to me. Any coach that wants you teach you how to strike first is a bad coach, because how am I going to defend myself? Because the name of the game is to not get hit
Exactly.
while you're trying to hit the other guy.
That reminds me that my like first training, when I started first training kung fu, what we learned first off was defense.
Yes.
Defense.
Yes.
Sorry.
Evade.
Yeah.
And I believe that day, just that on its own, that's where you get to learn discipline,
Yeah.
because the same principle could be applied in life.
Yes.
Like you can't just
Always.
just do things.
Yes.
You gotta be cautious. Why you want to be cautious? Because you want to protect yourself.
Exactly.
So you don't want to just jump into things.
Yeah.
Even though it would be nice to just do things without thinking, but most of the
that
time,
never works out.
yeah, it never works out. So there's a lot that you learn from these kind of, I don't even want to call it a sport, but like it's art.
Yes, it is.
It's art. Like,
and also becomes like a lifestyle.
Yes. I mean, in Kung Fu, you could use like this part. You could choose to strike with this part of your hand instead of striking with your traditional fist. And the choice, there's a reason behind using like a paw punch or a cat punch, so to say, when you're punching. Instead
so you know about Kung Fu. Okay.
Just a little bit. Just to
get by.
Yeah. So, even those choices, there's a reason why. It's not about always just hitting the hardest, but you want to have an effect.
Yes.
There's a certain effect that you're looking for. You want the guy to feel the strength within you. So you're transferring energy from you to them. And if maybe they can block that, then suddenly there's energy that's circulating amongst the two of you.
Yeah.
Yet you guys are at war. But you're sharing energy. Yeah. That's art. That's...
Yeah. And I guess that's also what makes Kung Fu different from karate, because karate is very like aggressive. Yeah. It's just get in there. Whilst Kung Fu becomes an art form, but in your art form, it packs a lot of defense, attacks.
Yes.
Like with Tai Chi. Tai Chi is the most peaceful form.
But you can generate a lot of energy.
Yeah.
While you're performing it.
Yes. With each stance, that in itself is an attack. It can be an attack. So it's just a lot. It's a lot.
And speaking about Tai Chi, like sometimes you may see like somebody holding a stance and you think, okay, this guy posing? And meanwhile, the force that's being generated just from that stance, it's remarkable.
Yeah.
I always see these videos on YouTube, and like maybe you see these grandmasters with the students. Maybe the students are gonna come and try and move them, and they just fail.
Yeah.
For some people, that's hard to believe. But if you take time and you apply those principles to try and navigate your own body and understand at which position do you have power the most, you then begin to understand the amount of power that these people can generate just from practicing this form of art each day in and day out.
So you got to make sure your energies are in the right places when you go to train. Because I've found myself like a lot of times where I feel like my energies are displaced, then I don't go to train at all. I'd just be like, my chi flow is not right, so I'm not going to train. Like everything has got to be in its place.
I take it you meditate. Don't disappoint me and say you don't. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No pressure.
Well,
No pressure.
the thing is, I'd love to get to a state where I feel peaceful enough to meditate, but my mind is always too busy and agitated to stay in that stand, or that be in that place of meditation or that mind. I feel like I always say that my soul is one that is agitated, one that is never resting, you know. Yeah.
I sense that you are a highly spiritual person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can we get into that?
Everything of mine or around me or whatever I do is directed by energies, you know, energies from people, energies from everything around me. If the energy is off, then I don't mess with it, or I just get away from it. I can tell. It's something I can never explain. But yeah, if energy could be translated into words, then that would help, because I could never.
So
Or if energy had its own language, then that would be helpful.
because you could understand.
Could understand
And
without having to use words, because words limit, you know. Yeah.
Sometimes you just don't have enough words to explain
No.
The vision or the feeling.
Exactly.
But something is there,
Yeah.
and you can feel it,
Yeah.
even though somebody else might say, "Oh, I don't
I don't
see or
I
feel
don't,
anything."
yes, exactly.
Or you overthinking things.
Yeah, I've been called an overthinker, but not everything that I come across, I decode it. You know, in my mind, I observe a lot. You know, and I feel that's it. And it has helped me, if I can say, in a lot of situations. You know, for example, with people, I mean, I'm sure you've come across people, you barely know them, or you don't interact with them a lot, but automatically you just don't like them, you know. That's your energy, you know, that's their energy not communicating with yours. They're not, I don't know.
You know what I usually say? I always say that I'm not expecting everyone to like me or love me or be on my side.
Yeah.
But I believe that I'm a very likable person. But if you don't like me, I don't have a problem with that, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And if you have a problem with that, then that's on you.
Yeah.
I'm not there to deal with that.
Yeah.
Life goes on, so I'm not certainly gonna be stuck on people that don't like me, or I feel that our energies
don't mix. Yeah.
And I choose to take a different standpoint and be like, I'm gonna make sure that my energy stays away from yours.
Yeah.
And I block anything that comes from you.
Yeah.
And it's not an offense.
Yes, like I always try to get people to understand that you shouldn't be offended. You know, it's not that there's anything wrong with you, but it's just that our energies just don't mix. You know, and what you were saying about that, you are a likable person.
Yeah, sure I am. That's not enough.
but not everyone is gonna like you, and that's okay. Like,
there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, there's nothing.
I mean,
wrong
imagine this: if you lived a life where you were liked by everyone, you'd get annoyed.
Yeah.
Life would be annoying because suddenly you're everyone's favorite person, and that's like.
And then that becomes boring. You know, you need that little.
You need some challenges.
Yes,
in life.
you need challenges.
How do you deal with challenges? Like, I mean, you are studying, right?
Was.
What? Or that means you're done.
I'm done. And
Oh.
I've never been happier.
Shout out to that. By the way, for people that don't know, you were doing graphic
I
design.
was doing graphic design 4 years,
Yeah.
and I'll be graduating next year.
And how were there any challenges faced?
Oh my goodness. There was challenges faced in every aspect. I've never been so challenged in my life, in emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and what else? Did I say emotionally?
Yeah. The only thing that's left is physical.
That's the thing. When all of these come together, all these strains, then it ends up being on a physical level where you just feel heavy or tired because all of these are being strained, simultaneously. Yeah.
It like I always say that, you can work hard, you can work your body hard to a point where you can't lift a finger.
Yeah.
You can recover. It's easy to recover from that. But if you have a burden on your soul, it's hard to recover from that.
Yes.
It's hard to stay on top of that.
And that's what I'm going through right now. I'm going through soul and emotional and spiritual recovery because, the journey of me being in varsity and having to deal with my academics and my social, and my academics having to take priority all the time because I'm very serious about that. It put pressure on me, a lot. So it ended up eating away, from my soul and everything that I am. And now I have to rebuild and find where I really fit in, Yeah.
So it's more or less like you have to reconfigure yourself.
Yeah, and it's very difficult.
It takes a lot of time, I guess.
Yeah, it does. That's what I realized. It's something you can't rush. And I'm a very impatient person. And I've been trying to rush the process, but that's not going well. So I guess I gotta slow down and to really pace myself and really figure out everything, from the bottom and work my way up. And hopefully a new me will be reborn, and who knows, maybe another alter ego will form.
You got plenty of them. So how do these alter ego, obviously it's through after you go through a very intense, tough period in your life. And when do you know that an alter ego has risen within you, or an alter ego has been activated, or an alter ego is part of you now?
Because I realized the difference, the change of pattern, maybe, the change of the way I operate. And then I'm like, okay, this is new. And I go back and I'm like, where did this start? What made it come about? And then I'm like, oh, okay. And then that becomes... So all of these are kind of like shells and personalities at the same time. But Jade is the alpha.
She's the top. She's
the top dog.
The main character.
The main.
She's always.
She features herself everywhere.
Okay, she's all. I guess she's alive. She's the one who is living.
Yeah, she's the one.
Or maybe you are living through her.
Yeah.
So, do you believe you can have a male alter ego within you?
Yeah, that's King Wanda.
Oh. and what is King Wanda synonymous with?
King Wanda is actually my art alter ego. But she also takes on the traits of Jade. As I said, Jade is present in every part of me.
Yes.
And he is... like, as I said, it's like an alpha form, a very, very dominant
figure.
A very dominant figure, she will express her views or his views. I don't like to say king is a he.
Give them gender.
I don't want to give king a gender.
Wow.
And
for me, I believe alter egos can be anything.
Yeah, exactly.
It could be anything at that time.
Yeah.
Like if, okay, my alter ego, I only have one.
The old lady?
Yeah, the old lady. And the old lady just keeps me in check. Maybe I'm thinking about doing something that I know it has a negative effect on another person.
Mm-hmm.
She will tell me, no, that's wrong. And you know it.
Do you listen to her?
I listen because I
all
know
the
it.
time?
All the time. Even though sometimes my reaction might be late.
Ha.
Because, we human.
Loophole.
We procrastinate.
Yes.
Like suddenly you're debating things. And then obviously at some point life is not going to wait for you.
Yeah.
So you just miss the moment.
Yeah.
Because you spend so much time just twiddling and just thinking about it instead of just acting.
Yeah.
So I find myself, having challenges, trying to work with that. It's something that I want to master, so to say, because I believe that with every human being, you gotta have that ability to keep yourself in check.
Yeah.
Because everyone, like, I have nothing wrong about people crying foul whenever they are being wronged or they feel that they're being wronged. But at certain points, like every time you're in that situation, I just feel like I gotta sit down and just look at myself and be like, where did I go wrong? Honestly, to myself. So that means I have to remove myself. So I have to remove bias towards myself and be in the other person's shoes because that's the person that I wronged.
Yeah.
It's not me. So in every situation, if a person says you've wronged them and they genuinely mean that, you've wronged them. Whether you don't agree with that or you agree with it, you've wronged them. And the onus is on you to pave the way forward for you to move conscious free.
There'll be less chaos and less wars in the world if everyone thought that way.
I feel like it's something that everyone can achieve.
They can achieve.
Yes.
But, I feel like human instinct of being very quick reactive and not think is very prominent. Like, not a lot of people will sit down and think before they act. Yeah, so it takes a lot. I actually want to start building or laying the foundation of my emotional intelligence.
Wow. That is so important.
Yeah.
Can you just say that again? I feel like, I don't know if it's me, but I feel like some people might have missed that.
Like, I want to pave the way, or I want to build foundation of emotional intelligence, because a lot of people spend a lot of time on mental intelligence and miss the emotional, and not knowing that the emotional is a very, very, very important. Like, it is a very important. You could be intelligent, but you could have the shortest temper.
Yeah.
So that actually, what can I say? Not having enough emotional intelligence will actually hinder your mental, like it clouds your judgment. So where does your mental go? Like, so it's very important to have both of those in check.
Yeah.
And it frustrates me that I'm very quick reactive, to a lot of things. I may seem calm, and
impulsive?
I'm very impulsive. I'm a very impulsive person.
Are you impulsive to negativity, or you also impulsive towards like general stuff? I mean, maybe you're an impulsive shopper. That's got no negative effect towards someone else.
I have impulsive tendencies. Like, I change my hair a lot. I was
Don't you think that goes with the alter ego?
more of my emotions. Whenever I feel some type of way very strongly, then it makes me wanna do something with my hair, you know. And that also goes to my piercings. Yeah, I used to call myself a serial piercer.
Yeah.
You know, it's very addictive. And now it's gone to tattooing.
Yeah. Well, join the club.
Yeah, like I never understood how people got addicted to tattooing, to tattooing actually, because it's painful.
No, it's not.
See, that's what they say. But each time, well, I recently got my second tattoo.
What did you get?
It's an owl.
An owl. Why an owl?
Because firstly, obviously, it's what they say. It's wise,
Okay.
and it's the only bird I can say I can connect with. I actually call it the owl of freedom. Like before
your tattoo.
Yes, I call it the owl of freedom. It actually has its like wings outspread, and it has a very determined look on its face.
Intense.
Yes, because like before I finished my course, whatever, I was always like I can't wait to finish so I could be a free bird. I always used to say that, you know, until when I was done, I was like, hey, I want a tattoo of a bird, you know, to represent that freedom that I do have now. And I just chose the owl, and it's pretty mysterious, and I like to consider myself mysterious.
You're not an open book. Well, not a lot of people, like for me, seeing you before the podcast, I wouldn't think you are the person that I'm with right now.
Yeah.
And not to say there's anything wrong with the person that you are. You are. I believe that you are an interesting person. Obviously, that's why you're sitting there on that lovely chair.
Very comfy.
Because that's what we do here.
Yeah.
The aim is to bring interesting people. English.
English.
It's late, man. It's Sunday. But nonetheless, the aim is to bring in interesting people such as yourself, and they share the way of thinking or the way of approach towards life.
Yeah.
And with you, I can say, for how old are you?
I'm 22.
Yeah, now I feel like you have a way older lady than the one that I have.
Than you have. And yet I would never consider that to be an alter ego.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
I don't want to have to think that I'm...
No, it's not you who's old. See, that's the thing. That's the thing. Like with us, we normally associate old with just redundant, useless.
Oh no, I actually don't.
But imagine if you had the world's oldest mind.
Yeah. I always said I have an old soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that obviously that helps you navigate your way through life. That's why you are able to tell yourself, like, okay, this person, I'm not feeling the energy, so let me just do my best to keep away from them.
Yeah. And also what you said about keeping yourself in check. I think sometimes I'm way too strict on myself. Yeah. Like I have a lot of rules set.
Like for daily operation, just rules.
Yes, I just have rules.
Okay.
And those rules have like operate around my morals and my values. So I don't overstep a line, because I'm someone with a lot of pride and integrity, and you know.
I'm glad you don't have a rule against podcasts.
No. Yeah.
Yet. Because life is an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can you mention some of those rules, or are they private and personal?
Yeah, they kind of personal rules.
Oh my God, that would have been interesting.
It would have been, but
okay.
Then where's the mystery in that?
Okay, you did mention that you want to be mysterious.
Yeah.
give enough just for you to stay intrigued.
Yes, exactly. Like taste.
Yeah. It's more like a promotion. Like
Yeah.
it's there, but it's not available.
Yeah, you could sit the whole day or every day with someone, telling each other about yourselves, and you still never know them fully. Like yeah.
That's
and
true.
and I choose who gets to know me way deep, but that goes with like the kind of soul you have. Like, is it on the same
Level.
Yeah.
Like you with me, I normally I look at the brain, so they say and be like, okay, obviously I'm gonna listen to you talk, listen to what interests you, and how you talk about it, and how you interact with people around you.
Yeah.
And basically that could be the determining factor whether I want to engage or interact with you even. Because the way you treat other people around you that are constantly, that's most likely how you're gonna
Yes.
you're gonna react towards me.
Yeah.
So I'm a person, I'm also very observant of people. And one thing that I've noticed about you, without you saying anything, I can tell that you're a very creative person.
Without me saying anything.
Yeah, without you saying anything.
It doesn't have to do with the dots on my face, is
No.
it?
No. It's not just singular things, but like
the whole composition.
Composition, because that's what we present as humans.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you mentioned the tattoos, the piercings, and obviously you got the string.
The
going
way I
down,
do my hair.
the braids, and
the facial
tattoos,
makeup.
Yeah, the way you wear your makeup. Obviously, that indicates that you're somebody that's very creative.
Yeah.
Because you like to play around.
Yeah, I don't like looking like, I don't like being seen as normal, but also it's not like being seen as normal, but it's how I translate my personality or who I am.
It's more like society. You don't allow society
to dictate
how you present yourself.
Yes, exactly. So I don't give in to social pressures and everything. And it actually started from a very young age.
How important is that? Just being able to understand yourself and wanting to be more of yourself than what society expects you to be.
Because at the end of the day, when you fall into pressures and try to be how everyone else or how it should be expected, then you don't find happiness in that. And to me, happiness and peace and being in tune with yourself is so important. It's something I take very seriously. Yeah. And you end up doing things that
you regret.
Yeah, you regret.
That's true.
Yeah, you just have to know thyself. And yeah.
Wait, we've spoken so much, and I haven't asked this. Where are you from?
I'm from Maritzburg.
Okay, you grew up everything there.
Everything, born and bred in Maritzburg. I feel like it's so boring when someone asks where I'm from, and I'm just like Maritzburg, because they was like, oh nah la, and I'm just like yeah, because they expect something. I always get people thinking that I'm from Joburg. Or somewhere, some at some point someone said Botswana or something, and I'm just like, no. No.
Yeah.
I'm just from Maritzburg.
And growing up, how was it growing up there?
It was really, I can say that I enjoyed being a child, and that's what saddens me with our children today, is that they don't get to experience being children, being out there playing, getting dirty, getting beaten for being dirty.
Yeah. Or you tore your clothes.
Everything, because life is here now. Life is literally here. And yeah, I can't say that I'm not a technological person because my course demands for me, or my career now demands for me to always be on the phone or on the computer or anything that is technological. But I'm a very grounded person. I would rather do something else that doesn't involve all these technologies. And it would be nice to see children playing like children rather than them being on Instagram. I get young people following me on Instagram. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna follow you. What are you doing here? What are you doing here?
I don't have cries.
No.
Wow, that's so true. You know, I get sad when I see a child just sitting there with a phone and they're so quiet.
Exactly.
Not that I like it when kids have been kids, obviously running around, you know, but that's what you expect of a kid. And as an adult, I understand why a kid's gotta go through that, because that's where you learn yourself.
Yeah.
Because you're not afraid to try things. And if you look at now the times that we live in, we got so many people just suffering from anxiety, depression,
way too many people,
stress, and all those kind of things. And if you imagine now that child that's, I mean, us, our generation, or your generation, my generation, generations ahead of me, they grew up in a time where kids could be kids. They were allowed to go. Well, not allowed. They were interested in going out to play, going outside, you know, hanging, climbing on trees, falling on the ground.
Even it doesn't even have to be outside. It could be inside, playing with dolls.
Yeah.
You know, I built a dollhouse out of Bogislama cornflakes and everything that I found around me.
Which in that teaches you creativity.
Yeah.
Which is what you want from kids.
Yes.
Whereas if you just give them a phone, then whatever they see, they decides the kind of person that they become. And you cannot control that.
Yeah, you can't, especially with the industrial revolution upon us. You know, you can't stop the wave.
Yeah. You know, I always say that it's very important for, as much as I know technology takes so much from us, but at the same time, we cannot deny that it's a tool that's part of our lives.
Yeah.
And it's
inevitably.
It's slowly, well, it has weaved itself within us.
Yeah.
And like you say, in your line of work, as much as you're a very spiritual person, but you can't run away from the fact that you have to use technology. So it's very important for us to once again be more intelligent when we use these things, or how we allow kids, not allow, but like how kids use these things and how it impacts them. Because I mean, if you look at now in our days, like you always see videos on social media, like kids back chatting to teachers, and you see a kid fighting with a teacher. I mean, in my times, well, when I was still in school,
you did not do that.
You don't do that. And my point is, I say, where does that come from? Does someone at home sit and be like, yo, don't disrespect your teachers out there. Go to school and be disrespectful. Or do the teachers be like, hey, yo, just disrespect me? No, that's not the case. It's because like things like when I was growing up, you were taught as a child that you greet everyone that you come across.
Yeah.
Nowadays, kids, you meet kids as an adult, they just look at you.
Yeah, that's like, all they do. They just stare at you.
Who are you? And also, us as adults, we don't know our places in children's lives. Like, if you wanna if you wanna build a healthy community, it starts from home.
Yeah.
If you want kids to behave at school, it starts from home. So you, as a parent, you gotta make sure that your child knows that they are a child, and they are not an adult. They cannot speak anyhow to an adult who is telling them to stop doing something that is wrong and disruptive, rude. And that's how we may be able to shape society.
Like I consider myself very lucky with the way I was brought up, because even now as an adult, young adult, I don't know.
Young adult.
I still have those teachings with me that it becomes so natural for me to be that way. Like, I noticed it a lot when I was working. Like, I used to work as a waitress, like every now and again. And the relationship I had with the elderly staff was better than my peers. Like, I formed that respect relationship. Like, I'd always come in, I'd greet them, and some of them would be like, "Has Wengane end," or something, because like the others, they don't greet. Like, and to me it's very normal, and it's a very nice feeling when, you know, umuntu omdala sees you as respectable, you know, or not. It could be me walking on the road and it could lula or like an elderly person and be like Sawon. Sometimes you could literally see them being shocked that you know. Even with securities it's a very, very like solid foundation that I laid with them, you know, out of respect and everything. But mentioning that it has to go both ways, because
absolutely.
I could say that some adults have this mentality, you as the younger one, you're supposed to respect me. But it as I said, it goes both ways. You also have to, it doesn't mean that means you can just treat me anyhow. Yeah, because I've come across adults that are very rude. So I'm just like, yeah, you don't deserve that respect from me. So it's a two-way.
It's a give and take.
It's
situation.
A give and take. Just with everything else in life, it's give and take.
Yeah, it's high time that adults understood their places.
Yeah.
And kids understood their place.
Yes.
It's just as simple as that. And obviously everything starts with the adults, because they're the ones that do most of the thinking.
Yeah.
So it's very important that adults take the lead. I mean, if you're umalume, just be umalume. Don't use the fact that you're umalume and take advantage of kids. If ubaba, be ubaba.
Yeah.
Don't be ubaba when it suits you.
Exactly.
You know, be ubaba all round. Don't be ubaba just to your kids. If you see another kid that's the same age as your kid, or looks to be in the same, treat them as your own kid.
Exactly.
And
like it always disturbed me how you can see that a man is old enough to be your father, but they are not acting that way. And you're just like, no, this is wrong.
It's wrong. So yeah, I think you're absolutely right on that note, that everyone needs to play their role, and just so we can fix our society and have a better community.
Yeah.
So where to from here? Because I mean, you're done. Next year, what's the plan?
You know how much I've been running away from that question? It's because, to be honest, I really don't know where to from here. Because as I said, I'm on a journey of self-configuration, discovery, just to know where I fit in the whole art and design field. Because I'm just like, I'm not ready to be a graphic designer. And also, I love other things. I have other passions. Like, I love fashion, but I wouldn't go to study it, you know. I'd learn it part-time, you know. And I love hair as well. I actually wanted to be a trichologist, like study trichology, which is...
What's a trichologist? I'm learning something here.
It is the treatment and the study of hair and the scalp, you know. Yeah. Um, but yeah, I'm still gonna. Oh, and also tattooist.
You wanna?
Cause.
Oh yeah. You can. Can you draw offhand?
Can I draw?
Offhand, like.
Like just.
Yeah. I mean, like, can you draw it? Do hand drawings? Can you draw with your hand?
Yes, that's how I started.
What?
Back in high school, I remember having my physics book torn apart because I was caught drawing in physics class. So I had to start all over with my physics notes. But it never stopped me from drawing tattoos and drawing them on myself. But it actually...
So that tattoo, you drew it. You drew it yourself?
No, I did. Oh, no. I haven't, no.
So you haven't gotten to the point?
No, I haven't gotten to that point. So I there's a lot of little things that I love, but I have to find the one that will be able to sustain me or mix all of them.
That's what I was about to say. It's like, why you gotta pick one? Just
Yeah,
do them all.
yeah, because that's the thing with me as well. I can't really stick to one thing. That's why I involve myself in so many things.
You know, in my mind, what you just mentioned, it's just one thing. I'm like, you're an artist.
Exactly.
Just do your thing. Go and be an artist. Let the world see your art.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. You feel like doing a painting, pull out a canvas, get some paint brushes, and just play some music, whatever gets you going.
Yeah.
And start working. You feel like drawing, freehand.
Yeah.
Do that. If you feel like, doing some graphic work on the computer and just produce something, that's why you're here. That's why you've been blessed with those skills and the intelligence to understand art in the way that you understand it.
And the way that I translate it as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how am I gonna translate it in such a way that it's still me, and that in the process I don't lose myself, because in a lot of things you end up losing yourself. And also, obviously, everyone is striving to be different these days, and it's very hard to be different because there's so many creators out there. So you gotta learn, or you gotta develop your own fingerprint in this creative business. And I think I'm still trying to figure out my fingerprint or whatever it is that will define me as an artist and designer, and that will make me stand out.
Absolutely. I think that we headed into a time where the South African creative scene is just going to be launched into the whole universe. And then people are going to start experiencing African artistry.
Yeah.
Just like, because like even now, the world's best artistry is still from Africa, baby.
Yeah.
And hey, I'm just saying, you guys are here, you creative, you've been blessed with the talent and the skill, and now you just have the knowledge, the theory of it.
Yeah, the theory. And there's still more to be learned. And that's the thing, we never stop learning. And that's what I teach myself. At some point, people get big-headed as like, I can do that, and then they stop growing. For me, I don't want to stop growing. So where I am right now is not where I want to be, and that's what I always tell myself, and that is what makes me grow as an artist and as a designer.
Wow. Jade, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of time. Go. Told you, it's just gonna fly by. See, an hour is way too short. Thanks for coming. Well, while you still find how you're gonna make your mark in the creative scene globally, because
definitely. I'm not trying
to take over.
Trying to penetrate. Yes.
Yangena.
Yeah.
Give people your social media handles, people that would be interested to hear more from you. Because, from this conversation that we had, you were very interesting. So Tiny wasn't wrong. So before I take credit for you sitting here, Thanks, Tiny, for bringing Jade
Thank you,
to the
Tiny.
podcast. Once again, you don't disappoint with your guests. So you can just give people your Instagram handles real quick before we close this.
My Instagram
And
from
Twitter, if you have.
my
Sorry.
personal account is at I am black, _Jade. And my art account on Instagram is king_wonder _art. I had to be complicated. And then with Twitter, it's at blackjade84.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jade.
Thank you for having me.
It was a pleasure for having you on the podcast. It's been real. You can follow me on Instagram at general_Njiniela. You can follow the podcast on Instagram at GNPS_podcast. And on Twitter, it's at general_Njini. It's been real.
Yep.
Peace out.